what's up guys, Joe here from JPRC, and this is gonna be my review of these 1/8 scale on-road tires for buggies and on-road cars. And these are made by a company called LNL from overseas. And just for full disclosure, these tires were sent to me for free for testing, and at the time of this video, they're only sold on eBay. Now, as a general rule for tires sold from an overseas vendor on eBay, they are usually junk, they're garbage, and they have no traction, they have durability issue, and this is kind of like their attempt to redeem themselves. And the only reason why I accept to do this testing for them is because I was already on the market for a new set of on-road tires from my Arrma RC. The 1/8 scale Typhon in particular, and second, and they're advertising these tires as high-speed tires that does not balloon, so I assume that they have a belt inside. And with that, and let's take a look at the tires. Right now, if you look at the packaging, they came into these very simple plastic bag packaging with the LNL branding on top. Looking at the packaging here, I don't even see a name for these tires. But looking at the tread pattern on these tires, they have these V-shaped on-roll, kind of like supercar looking tire tread pattern here. The tire tread, it's actually very realistic scale looking, but then the tire tread, it's kind of very thin. I'm not sure if the design or if it's just for looks, because I'm looking at this, probably just gonna give you that supercar look, but functionally I don't think it's gonna do a lot. I think in a couple packs of high-speed runs, they'll just become ball and it'll just work like a racing slick from there. Now, the tire material is actually very soft. The foam inside it's actually kind of very hard, and they're advertising these are the EVA foam, and I looked it up what EVA mean. They kind of a type of closed cell foam. However, it is taped to the wheels, very similar to how the Tamiya foam that came with their kits. Now, on the tires here, again, when I was checking on the inside, I didn't see a belt inside. However, the contact surface of the center of the tire, it's actually very thick, so I think it's gonna have a good amount of tread of rubber in there for a good amount of runs from there. But anyway, I didn't see a belt, but they might be integrated inside, and we really have to take it outside to try it out and let them know. But either way, for the record, good or bad, I'm gonna post the result back on here for you guys. And they do offer it in 2 different flavors. For a little bit more money, they will actually pre-mount and glue these tires for you. And then I also picked up a second set unglued, because I'll be gluing these tires myself, and typically I would have more confidence with the tires when I glue them myself. Now, on the wheels here, it does have a very interesting design. However, even though it comes with a 17mm hex on these wheels that comes with the tire, it doesn't quite fit my armor very well, because the hex, it's a little bit too deep. So when I have the hex installed on my armored buggy, it's kind of binding with my hub carrier for just a tiny little bit. So I was able to fix the problem by making this little wheel hex here out of a body washer, and that I was able to mount the wheels onto my car without any issue, and there was no binding from there. But the interesting design on these wheels here that I was trying to say is the beads, how the tire contacts the wheel. On the wheel here, it does have an extra slot around the beads on both sides, so that kind of interlocks with the tire once the tire sets in. It is very similar to how the Traxxas style beads. So I think that is what they're advertising as a a new feature to help the tire get secure bonding, not just using the glue, but also using the physical slot interlocking mechanism to provide extra bonding for the tire and the wheel. Now, if you compare to the Arrma stock wheel here, they only rely on the glue for the tire to get bonded to the wheel. So here we're running the tires on the Arrma Typhon buggy for the first time at this very large parking lot with a relatively clean surface. The buggy has the 18-tooth pinion installed and running on 6S label, so according to the gearing chart, this is estimated about 60 miles per hour. So at this speed, the tires actually handle very well, much better than what I expected. I was surprised by that. In fact, in the straight line acceleration, there was a lot of traction. I didn't have any of the torque steering, like from loss of traction, like the stock tire that it had. However, I did notice there was a lot of understeer at this corner when I'm entering at high speed, and that maybe partly has to do with my entering speed.
switch there. When it goes wide.
Now on this first test run, I ran it on 2 packs of 6S LiPo. The first pack was primarily on a high-speed run back and forth on the street, and then the second pack is in this parking lot, doing a lot of cornering, high-power cornering, and I did try to do some power sliding. Kind of want to see how the tire wear will handle. And after 2 packs of the kind of a medium, not very intense run, the tire wear on this, it's to a minimum, so I was actually surprised by that. Now I'm like, checking out these tires, they're actually very grippy. And I do like the fact that the tire wear on these is very well balanced. I didn't have to do a lot of balancing on these tires, but the tire wear across front and rear were very well balanced. As you can see here, the wear and tear, it's very even across the board. I was definitely surprised by that. So to draw some early conclusion, these tires and wheel definitely, it's a better upgrade than the stock RTR tires. But I don't want to draw too early of a conclusion that these are good tires, because in the next video I am gonna be taking the Arrma and actually up the pinion gear to close to 100 miles per hour operation, and that is when we can do an actual high-speed testing of these tires to see whether or not they will be able to handle that kind of high speed. If they do, that'll be great. If not, we're gonna have some exploding tires on camera. So definitely I want you guys to stay tuned for the next video, and I hope that this video was entertaining for you guys. And if you like, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Yeah. So I'm taking behind the scenes pictures.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of trying to see the tire ballooning.